Racewatch 12 with Cade Heidemann is brought to you by Builder's Service.
Before we get the first race on an intermediate track for this year's NASCAR season, the Touring Series took a stop off at Phoenix Raceway over the weekend, where drivers not only looked to conquer the track, but a problem plaguing the NASCAR Cup Series since the debut of the Gen 7 car. For this now being the fourth season this car has been racing, NASCAR and Goodyear have seemingly struggled to get the racing correct on short tracks, with one of the biggest offenders being the track the championship race is held on. Last year, however, they came up with a breakthrough tire compound that ran at last year's Richmond race as an option tire to promising results. Looking to capitalize on the momentum, the spring race at Phoenix felt like the perfect time for some more experimenting. Giving the Cup Garage a couple sets of the softer compound, on top of their prime tire to hopefully add some life to the racing at this track. Before we see the results of that though, the Xfinity Series was also at Phoenix for a regular season race and a much more straightforward outing. All the regulars had to worry about was the pilots of the Hendrick 17 and Gibbs 19. Alex Bowman and Eric Almirola came to mix things up and test their skills against NASCAR's future stars. That would prove to be a very tough task at the wave of the green flag, where Bowman effortlessly clears the field into turn 1. The 17 would be the one to set the pace for the day, not being challenged once all through stage 1, with Bowman taking the green and white. Unsurprisingly, the first driver to take the fight to Bowman was Eric Almirola. He started on the inside of the 17 and ran away on the first corner, just as Bowman did. First major caution of the day would wait until midway through stage 2. Austin Hill hit the inside while entering turn 4 and took Sheldon Creed with him. Stage 2 would close out with a different driver holding the lead above the 19 and 17, with Justin Allgaier getting the best of them to a stage win. Allgaier held down that lead most of the way through stage 3, even despite Almirola hounding him. The 7 had nothing but clear track in front of him, and it looked like he had it all but won with 3 to go until the 07 collided hard with the wall, bringing the caution out and sending this race into overtime. On the restart, Allgaier starts inside Almirola, but coming into turn 2, Allgaier washes up too high into the 19, allowing Alex Bowman to overtake for the lead. Allgaier fell back, but Almirola stayed with him. Bowman kept him back out of turns 1 and 2, but through 3 and 4, Almirola got to his inside and sent Bowman into the wall to take the lead and win the Xfinity race at the line. The Cup race on Sunday started with a different Hendrick driver on pole, with William Byron starting inside of Joey Logano. The 22 and 24 would battle hard to get the early lead, but that battle would be broken up on lap 4 when the first caution flew for Katherine Legge, who spun on her own, not an ideal way to make her first start. Then very shortly after, we get our first crash of the day for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who got caught up while racing 4 wide. It's on this restart that a massive penalty gets handed down for defending champion Joey Logano, who was caught dipping below the yellow line before crossing the start-finish. He would be forced to serve a pass-through and go from the front all the way to the back. Also on this restart, we see Ryan Preece be the first taker of the softer option tire, and this paid off big for the 60 car. He started 33rd and ended the stage 3rd, just behind Tyler Reddick and William Byron, the latter taking the green and white. On the stage break, a lot of drivers came down for the option tires, resulting in a whole new crop of drivers heading up to the front of the pack. Austin Cindric would lead a few laps, before we got a minor caution from Michael McDowell, who blew a tire in turn 4. This minor incident would lead into a major one though, when on the restart, 4-wide racing once more bites a lot of drivers. Riley Herbst, Ty Gibbs, Chase Briscoe, and Shane Van Gisbergen are just a few of the names involved. After this though, the rest of the stage would run clean. Joey Logano took some of the option tires and drove past the entire field, as they were far and away better than the yellow letter ones. But later on in the final few laps, Christopher Bell caught back up to Logano on the prime tires and passed him back to take the stage victory, proving that when these tires fall off, they fall off hard. Stage 3 would not be incident-free either. Katherine Legge once more gets into trouble when she makes contact with Josh Berry and loses her car, falling right into the lap of Daniel Suarez, taking him out of the race while he was running within the top 5. The Toyotas weren't in the conversation much to start the race, but by the end, this race was Gibbs dominated, with Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin leading. But it would also be a Gibbs car that put that lead in jeopardy when Ty Gibbs blew a brake rotor, creating a caution. With 2 to go, Bell and Hamlin started alongside each other. Neither could get the advantage outside turns 1 and 2. Then outside turn 4, Hamlin is the one that takes the white flag barely over Bell. The 20 and 11 stay side by side entering turn 3, but Hamlin washes up too high, allowing Christopher Bell to wrap the bottom and just barely edge ahead for the win, making now his 3rd consecutive Cup Series victory. Here's the current point standings after Phoenix. William Byron still holds down the points lead, being 13 over Bell. You would think 3 consecutive victories would be enough to secure first place here, but Bell's disastrous Daytona 500 performance is the only thing holding him back from that. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott round out the top 5. Denny Hamlin rockets up the standings by 10 spots, putting him within the front 16. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell are both down 4 and 7 spots respectively, at risk of falling off the board entirely. Carson Hocevar and Chase Briscoe both fell off the board themselves, with Ross Chastain creeping up in 16th, up 4 spots from last week. And finally, to end this week, here's your Wisconsin driver report. From the bottom to the top, Josh Bilicki finishes 23rd after starting 22nd, about where you would expect a TGM car to finish on tracks like these. Parker Retzlaff had a massive rebound after his fiasco last week. He started 26th and ran up in the top 15 most of the day, being able to cap off a strong performance by taking the Funkaway Chevrolet to an 11th place finish. Then up top another week is Sam Mayer. These Haas factory team cars have been keeping up with the best week in and week out since the season began. And while victory lane has escaped Mayer's grasp a few times now, racking up top 10 certainly never hurts. With his 7th place, that puts him currently 3rd in regular season points, on track to have yet another great season. As usual, all 3 of these guys will be back next week at Vegas, as will the Truck Series. Ty Majeski and Luke Fenhouse will be representing the Badger State in their ThorSport F-150s at the first intermediate race of the season. That's it for this week. For Racewatch 12, I'm Cade Heidemann.